Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pathway to Results podcast. It is your boy DG. We are here live and in effect. I was looking forward to recording this episode because I started to see in my own life this process of how essentially the unfolding of versions of you are created, or me, and then naturally I'm just sharing my journey and everything that I gather in my own life I'm sharing with you. So this episode was something I've been looking forward to, so stay with me here because we're going to go dive deep, and I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to preach, but I probably will start preaching to get you to understand. We always, especially in the spiritual community or like the manifestation community, or like we always talk about like how important it is to visualize. You got to visualize. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to share something with me, okay? There's something called aphantasia, right? So I have what's called aphantasia. And what aphantasia is basically you don't have the ability to visualize and quote unquote see something. So I don't see anything. I think it into existence. So somebody will say, hey, close your eyes and think of a bird on a power line. I don't see a bird on a power line. I don't see anything. But what I can do is I can think my way. I can think my way into feeling as if there's a bird on a power line. Okay. So here's what I started to realize once me and my wife did an exercise and we had to visualize that there was a bird on a power line. She's like, yeah, I see it. It's blue. It's this. I'm like, I don't see nothing. And I'm thinking that there's something wrong with me. Like, what is wrong with me? How come I can't see it? But then here's what I realized. I realized this was actually a gift. It was a gift because now I have to send so much thought energy and so much emotional energy into like creating this, whatever I'm trying to visualize in my mind. I have to literally think it into existence. Okay. So here's why I'm telling you this, because where a lot of us get it wrong is we visualize, but we think that visualization of the outcome is how we achieve the outcome. Stop wasting your energy in visualizing the outcome. Let me say it again. Stop visualizing the outcome. Don't worry about the outcome. We need to be visualizing the process. Y'all ain't trying to hear me right now. See, when you visualize the process, what happens is now you are taking the energy and you're putting it into the cause instead of focusing on the effect. You will never get the effect focusing on the effect. You will always get the effect focusing on the cause. So now if I'm visualizing the process, the product has to show itself. And this, my friends, is how you use visualization. Visualize yourself carrying out the process as if the outcome was already completed. So I know that the outcome is completed already. So now I don't even waste my energy. Let's focus all of our energy on the process. We do this all the time. If you got kids, you do this all the time. Think about it. You don't raise your kids with the outcome in mind. You don't raise your kids as if they were 40. You're focusing on the processes, on the causes, on the things so they can become a civilized adult at some point. You're only focusing on the now is my point. So how do we do this? I'm about to say some stuff. It's going to be triggering for some of us, but I got to go ahead and say it because I got to get down in your spirit so you know what I'm saying. All right. The issue, what I'm finding with a lot of people, including myself from time to time, is that we never give ourselves permission. You never give yourself permission to see yourself as something more than what you are right now. So that's why you can't visualize the process, because you haven't given yourself permission to even think that it was possible to create this version of you, the quote unquote outcome, the product. You haven't given yourself permission. So what I'm finding in a lot of people's lives is we have this distorted concept of ourself. So now because you have a distorted view of yourself, you view yourself as less than. You view yourself as unworthy. You view yourself as unlovable. You view yourself as incapable. So now because I got just icky self-concept, I can't give myself permission to create the version of myself that I'm looking to become. So I can't even visualize what that looks like because I haven't given myself permission. Do you see how this works? So you know me and words. I always like to go a little bit deeper. If you look at the word permission, and along this journey, along this mission, along this quest, what we were doing is we were creating new versions of ourselves. You see what I'm saying? So if I want to become him tomorrow, I had to create that version of myself. Okay. I had to go on a mission to create him by going first on a quest, by asking the questions and seeing what parts of me are holding me back. What parts of me do I need to let go? By asking those questions and going on that quest, now I've started the mission of creating my new self. But here's the issue. I didn't give myself permission. I'm going to go ahead and let that marinate for a second. I didn't give myself permission. Every time that you are creating a new version of yourself, whether you have a new perspective of yourself, there's a new self-concept, a new level of self-worth, a new level of self-belief, a new level of self-love, a new level of what you're trying to manifest or create in the physical world, every single time that you are creating a new version of yourself, you must give yourself permission to do so. So when I say you must give yourself permission, per mission, per version of yourself, per evolution of who you are becoming. Do you see how this works? So here's what I realized. Good God Almighty, y'all ain't trying to hear me right now. We're coming in live in effect right now. Here's what I realized. Here's what I realized. You over here trying to climb the top of this mountain and get to the top, but you never gave yourself permission to even start the journey. So here I am, frustrated. Here I am, there's this imbalance inside of me energetically because I want to go there. I have the desire, but I have not given myself permission for this mission of becoming this version of me. I haven't given myself permission. I haven't given myself permission to say, you know what? Go ahead and go get it. You know why? Because I'm waiting for somebody else's permission. Maybe it's my parents. Maybe it's my spouses, my significant other. Maybe it's my children. Maybe it's my race. Maybe it's my culture. Maybe I don't give myself permission until I've seen someone else who looks like me, walks like me, talks like me, dresses like me, moves like me, thinks like me, feels like me. I won't move until I've seen them do it, and that's what gives me permission. I'm here to tell you right now, you don't need nobody's permission to get started on your mountain. You don't need nobody's permission for you to go on this mission. You didn't need anybody's permission. The only permission that you needed for each mission was your own permission. You did not need anybody else's. So here's why I'm saying this. Once I have given myself permission, good God Almighty, y'all ain't trying to hear me. Once I have given myself permission, I will see that I was the only one who had not first granted the permission. I was the only one who was stopping me. Y'all ain't trying to hear me. It was only you. It was only you. You were the only one who was stopping yourself. No one else could ever stop you. But if you had put the permission slip in somebody else's possession, then of course it would have looked like somebody else was keeping you from doing something. See, for the longest, I had my permission slip of who I could become and what I could do and what I could accomplish and how much I could make and what I could. It was put in my parents. They had the permission slip, and rightfully so. They had the permission slip because they were the ones who brought me into this physical existence. But as we start to develop the mental faculties of us being able to create our lives and think for ourselves and consciously be able to create the life that we want, at some point you were going to have to take the permission slip back. But if you haven't taken the permission slip back and somebody else still has the permission slip, you will see that it wasn't them that was stopping you. It was you who had not yet taken back the slip. Think about when we go on field trips. when we were kids, right? When we were kids and we go on field trips, you had to have a permission slip because the permission slip said that, yes, you can do this. The permission slip said yes. And here's the deal. Anything that we do without permission is what we call breaking the law. So you can't go rob a bank because they have not given you permission to do so. If they gave you permission, it would be lawful. Good God Almighty, y'all ain't trying to hear me. It's coming to me live in real effect. So every time that I don't give myself permission, I'm breaking the motherfucking law. I'm breaking the law. So what happens when you break the law? Your butt is in jail. And when you're in jail, you're confined, you're stuck, you can't move, you can't shake, you can't do as you please. This is what I'm seeing. You got yourself hemmed up in jail right now. You're serving a life bid. You are serving a life bid, but guess who put yourself in jail? You did. You did. You did it. This is hard for a lot of people to hear. This is really hard. This is really when the game changes. When you realize you was the one who had the key and you were the one who had the lock. You were the one who gave yourself permission and you were the one who did not give yourself permission. Now, how you want to play it? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Ask yourself, what do I want to do here? When you realize it's just you versus you, I got to stop. I got to stop blaming mom. I got to stop blaming dad. I got to stop blaming my boss. I got to stop blaming my spouse. I got to stop blaming. People tell me this all the time. People come to say, what do I do when my spouse? What do I do when my spouse won't work on themselves, won't heal themselves, won't do what they need to do, and I'm over here on this journey? I look at them like, why you got your permission slip in their hands? Why do you have your permission slip in their hands? How could somebody else give you permission to live your life as you please? Somebody come by. Somebody please tell me. Seriously, somebody please tell me, because I'm I feel like I can figure out most things, but I can't understand how in the world can somebody else give you permission to do you? And this is what the system was. This is how the system was set up. Y'all ain't trying to hear me right now. I'm gonna say some stuff right now that's gonna be it's gonna be triggering. Why do you think they required you to have a hall pass when you were in school? Think about it. Me going to the restroom is a primitive function. All creatures must what's the word? I gotta go to the bathroom. But I have to ask for permission to go to the bathroom. And then someone else will grant me permission as to whether or not I will be able to go and use the bathroom, even though this is a biological response to excess waste that does not belong in this human vessel. But yet I'm asking for someone else's permission for a biological response. So now what ends up happening is subconsciously, you won't go to the bathroom unless you have permission. I used to run it was DG Mindset Academy. Nobody ever saw it. It was before it got to this point where we're at now. But I used to have, I would teach kids how to develop their mind. Little kids. I'm talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, right? And they would say to me, they'd go, Mr. DG, can I go to the bathroom? And I'd look at them and I'd say, no, you can't go to the bathroom. No, you cannot go take care of whatever's inside of your bladder. Absolutely not. And they look at me crazy. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. But they would look at me like, what? Yeah, you see how crazy that sounds? You see how crazy that sounds that we won't allow our children to, somebody else has to give them permission for a biological response. How in the world are they going to break out of this when they're adults? Psychologically, if biologically you won't even let me do something, how in the world psychologically will you? This is where it first starts. We start essentially putting our permission slips in someone else's hands. It seems small, right? Having a hall pass, going to the bathroom, but then psychologically that creates a hold. And then it moves to family members, parents, society, the government, social standards. So now what ends up happening? I know I have these passions. I know I have these dreams. I know I have these things that I want to do in life, right? I have these desires. But I don't feel like I can do it. I don't feel like I can do it. The reason why I don't feel like I can do it is because of this self-concept that I have of myself. Basically, how I perceive myself, how I see myself. And we all have a self-concept. And your self-concept or your self-perspective is based upon all of these past experiences. These past experiences where someone did not give you permission. Good God Almighty. Somebody didn't give you permission to be who you were and how you were. Maybe you were a child and your feelings were hurt and you cried. And mommy and daddy told you to stop crying. What you crying about? You ain't got nothing to cry about. Stop all that crying. I'm going to give you something to cry about. How many times did we hear that? So now psychologically what it does is it creates a wound, a fracture that we process as, I can't be myself. So that adds up. It adds up. And then over time, what happens is you become an adult. So you are actually programmed not to give yourself permission to be who you are and how you are. That's why you won't go after your dreams. You won't go after your dreams because you haven't been given permission to be the version of you who's allowed to go after your dreams. I can't give you permission. And I don't want you to think for 1 second that I'm trying to give you permission. What I'm trying to do is give yourself permission to go on this mission of being who and how you are without conditions. Just imagine for 1 second if you could just be truly how you were. I'm talking about you wore your hair the way you wanted to. You wore your makeup the way you wanted to. You dressed the way you wanted to. You walked the way you wanted to. You talked the way you wanted to. You truly did everything the way that you wanted. Imagine if you could. Now go ahead and sit there for a second. Imagine what that would feel like. What's the first word that comes to mind? Freedom. Freedom. You see, that's the first thing that, man, I'd be so free. Man, DG, I would feel free. I don't even. So the opposite of freedom is being chained, bounded, locked up. So you can actually see how much you're locked up because I don't feel freedom. If that's what I would feel if I did these things, I would feel freedom. That means I'm not doing these things. So therefore, I am feeling the opposite. This is what it feels like to be chained up. But you don't know what it feels like to be chained up because you've been chained up your whole life. You see what I'm saying? If I sat here the moment that you came out of the womb and I just kept tapping your temple with my finger and I just kept hitting it. I kept hitting your temple and you just kept. By the time you got to be 9 years old and I just kept doing this every second, you wouldn't know what it felt like not to do it. You think this is normal. So you think it's normal for you not to give yourself permission. You think it's normal for you to sit around and wait for your spouse to tell you, yeah, go ahead and do it. Go and do it. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is when life changed for me. This is when life changed. When I realized how many people's had permission slips, had my permission slips. They were mine. They were mine. How many of my permission slips were in somebody else's hands? How many of my permission slips? Okay. My earning potential. That permission slip, my father owned that one. Okay. How worthy I was. That permission slip was collectively owned by my parents, right? Whether or not I'm accepted or not, or whether or not I accept me, that permission slip was in my wife's hands, okay? Whether or not I could accomplish something, that permission slip I had given to my peers. Do you see how this works? We have all of these permission slips that were, you were supposed to have a file cabinet. You were supposed to have a file cabinet of permission slips that you kept on you. But the issue is, I'm sitting here giving them out to everybody. You over here making it rain with these permission slips. Be stingy and keep your permission slip for yourself. Nobody can give you permission. Nobody can give you permission. Nobody can give you permission. I'm going to say some stuff right now. It's going to get down to the core of your soul. Nobody can give you permission for you to go on a mission. But I make sure I watch what I put in my body, right? So if you're familiar with Magic Mind, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's essentially this holistic, I don't want to say beverage, but it's like a little supplement. It's almost like a little shot. And it has, lion's mane mushroom in it. It has all of these natural supplements to help with clarity. So I reached out to Magic Mind. My team reached out to him. I'm telling you, Magic Mind has changed the game. Magic Mind has changed the game. And I had a sample pack of 4. Clarity like being able to like focus in. I'm already pretty focused, but I could tell a huge difference because I do eat the same thing every day and I don't put things into my body. So when I did take it, I'm just telling you right now, stop what you're doing. Go to magicmind.com and start sniffing around and see what resonates with you and order you a sample pack. Get in there and get you something. Game changer. It helps. And you know, I will tell you this, the biggest change with clarity, or the biggest result that I received when I took this, was clarity, but then also too, like, peace. Like, it was easier to let go of things. It was easier to just be. And it could have been some other reasons. I like to chalk it up to Magic Mind. So Magic Mind, huge supporter of Magic Mind. Go check it out. Go check it out. You will not be disappointed. So you were going to have to do it. And if you were in a marriage right now, if you were in a relationship that you for some reason thought that you needed your spouse's permission for you to be who and how you were, you living bound up right now. You're living bound up. And ain't nobody locking you up but you. Nobody else did it. He didn't do it. She didn't do it. It was purely done by you. And here's the beauty of it. The permission slip exists within the mind. The permission slip exists within the mind. The permission slip exists within the mind. So nobody could have your permission slip without you mentally, unconsciously giving it to them. It was you. This is why you had to take your mind back. This is why you had to take your mind back. This is why you had to take it back. Because that's where your permission slips were. And here's the beauty of it. Once you get your own permission slip, right? So I've given myself permission. Go be who you are. Go find who you are and go be it. I've given myself full permission. And now here's the deal. Because the permission slip has been signed, that motherfucker is non-negotiable. We ain't negotiating. We ain't talking about it. So here's the deal. I give myself permission to go and be who I am and find who I am and whatever that looks like. So now I don't care if it's hard. I don't care if it hurts. I don't care if it stings. I don't even care if you agree with it or not. I don't care no more. I stopped caring because I've taken back my permission slip. I've given myself permission. I don't need your permission no more. You can go ahead and tell me how you feel about it and go waste your energy. That's fine. But I've given myself permission to go and be who I am. I've given myself permission to go on this journey to figure out and find who I am. Whether that means go sitting in the cave for 5 days, whether that means climbing a mountain for 36 hours, maybe that's an ayahuasca ceremony down in Mexico. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I've given myself permission to go and do it. Because in this life, for this existence, I've given myself permission to go and find myself. Give yourself permission. And when you give yourself permission, how much easier it will be to visualize that version of you that you were looking to become. You can't visualize something that you don't have permission to visualize. You can't go after something that you haven't been given permission to go after. How are we going to do this? Do you see how this works? So first I have to give myself permission. When I give myself permission, now what will end up happening is I can start to make change. I can start to evolve. And when I start to evolve, now I can start to shift and alchemize and transmute this concept of myself. So now I don't have to see myself as unlovable. I don't have to see myself as not being enough. I don't have to see myself as being the trauma or the abuse that has happened in my life. Now I can make the choice. I can make the choice to view myself as something more. I can view myself as someone who is overcoming everything that comes in life because he's using it as something, as the resource to become more self-aware. I can shift the way I view myself. And now it'll be so much easier. So much more simple, because life is so simple, so simple. Life is unbelievably simple. It will become so much more simple for you to go and create. and visualize the process. So I got off a little bit off topic, but I want to help you here. Let me help you. Because my dream, I asked myself this. I was getting dressed the other day. I was in my closet, and I asked myself this. It's like, what do you like? What's the end game with you? Like, what is it like? If you could do one thing, what would it be? And I thought about this truly, and I said, you know what? Everything that I'm doing now, I'm doing it now with the masses in mind. I've given myself permission. I've given myself permission to get to a place of influence that when I say orange juice, everybody's like, oh, orange juice. Not for me. But I look at like Martin Luther King. Look at Gandhi. You look at Jesus. You look at all these influential figures, how their message echoes in eternity. And I say to myself, what if I could help? What if I could help 8 billion people? What if I could help 8 billion people and give them the framework to help themselves? That's the game. That's the mission. That's the mission. My mission is to learn how to do this myself and then teach you how to do it. That's really what it is. That's the goal, to learn how to do this and then teach you how to do it. So then guess what? You'll go off and do it for your family, for your children, and so forth and so on. My mama used to always tell me this. She used to say, son, when I was young, I was doing laundry when I was in 4th and 5th grade. I was making my own school lunch in 5th grade. Like, she was like, I got to raise you. I got to raise you as if I'm not going to be here. Now, thankfully, I'm recording this on January 16, 2024. My mother's still alive. She's still here. But she said, I got to do this. I got to raise you as if I'm not going to be here. And it used to like make me sad when she would say that, but I realized what she's like, I got to teach you how to fish instead of just giving you fish. I could give you fish all day. I could feed you till your gullet, your belly. I could knock every wrinkle out of your stomach. Your belly's so full because I feed you. She's like, but then you will have depended on me and you cannot do it for yourself. And I realized what my mother was doing at the time. My mother was trying to give me permission. Good God Almighty, you ain't trying to hear me. She was trying to give me permission. She was encoding in me to give me permission to say, son, go do it. But I got to teach you how to fish. And that process of teaching you how to fish, of you having to scuff your legs up and figure it out on the fly, that's painful. But this is how. Because once you do something, you'll automatically give yourself permission. So I'm giving you permission to give yourself permission to go and see yourself as something more than what you are right now. It's the beauty of the mind. The mind has no limits. You could see yourself so much more than what you are. You could do anything. Hear me when I tell you you can do anything. You can do anything. You can literally do anything. You can do anything. Anything. Look at technology today. Look at all we're doing. You can do anything. You can do anything. Anything. If they could put a plane, if two bikesmiths can build a plane back in 1903, surely in 2024, you can do what you're trying to create. You can do anything, but you have to give yourself permission to do so. Visualize this process, the process of you giving yourself permission. Visualize the healing. Visualize the wholeness, visualizing the self-love. What does that feel like? Oh my goodness, I can just see myself loving myself without conditions. I can see the peace that I have. I can see the freedom knowing that nobody's going to give me permission to do or not to do. I can literally visualize this process. So now when I step into this, I take every single day, I just sit here and just walk in that light. I walk in that energy of what it's like. Damn. So now guess what happens? You are now visualizing the cause, which will in turn help you to embody the cause. And now when you embody the cause, this is how you'll start to create it. So I just wanted to break that down for you. I wanted to break that down for you. I got some exciting news for you right now. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this in your car, if you're watching on Instagram Live, I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? I told you what the big mission is, and this just came to me. I'm dialing it in. I'm getting closer and closer. I want to be the resource to help you be the resource. I want to be the one who gives you permission to help you give yourself permission, right? I'm trying to give you, like, girl, you go do it, and then you're like, yeah, go do it. Like, that's the goal, right? So here's here's what we've done. I sat with my team and we thought about it. And I said, you know what? We got resources. We have things, right? We got retreats. We got courses. We got live coaching programs. We got one-on-one. We got speaking. We got all these things. What can we do to create and maximize value to help these people, to help the masses? So I started studying and really figuring out how to do this. So here's what we decided to do. Hear me when I say this. You show me a place where they're doing this at, okay? Some of us listen to this as part of the community, right? The conscious evolution community. Well, this is this community that, you know, we have power hours every week. It's a live call with me, like a live call. Like it's basically like question and answer with me, and we break down stuff and I teach stuff. But then I'm like, let's turn it up. So then we started doing live Monday meditations with me, right? So I'll guide you through a meditation. Every meditation has a meaning or like a subject, a topic. We decided to take it one step further now, okay? Here's what we did. All live coaching, whether it's Unleash, whether it's Unleash is an example, but all live coaching courses, all recorded courses, everything is in the community now. It's all included in it. It is all included. Now, you don't have to get in the community. You don't have to. It's a one-time fee, or you can pay monthly. You can do one-time fee for $99 for a year. When I tell you there's so much value in it, it is ridiculous. For $100 a year, that is less than 40 cents a day. For less than 40 cents a day, this is like the personal development, the Netflix of personal development. Like if you are here to work on yourself, get your butt in the Conscious Evolution community. Sign yourself up for a membership. You don't have to pay all at once. If that's not what you want to do, that's fine. It's $12 a month. Or a one-time fee of $100. Go to the link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio. Because I'm telling you right now, we're about to fill it up with so many things. I can't say it right now because they don't. My team's like looking at me like, please do not tell this before it's time to tell it. But like, we're going to flood it with content, courses, live coaching, all of these things. This will be included in your membership. So you're not going to have to pay any extra. So let's just say, for example, this course costs $400 if you're not in the community. But since you pay $12 a month or you paid your $100 for the year, that course that's $400, you don't have to pay anything extra. You're already in it if you want to. Where do they do that at? Where do they do that at? Somebody tell me, please. It's literally the Netflix of personal development. So get yourself in there because I'm just telling you, there's a community who's waiting for you. They are waiting for you. We're going to fill this thing up. We're going to run it up. And here's what's going to end up happening. Now we'll start to become a movement. And when we become a movement, now we move as a mob. And now guess what ends up happening? Slowly, there'll be enough energy that create momentum. And now before you know it, wow, you'll start seeing stuff on TV. You'll start hearing things saying, wow, so-and-so people have healed. What? Healing? What? Wait, what? They're starting to heal? I'm telling you, get in this community. Get in there. The Conscious Evolution Community membership. When you get in there, and here's the beauty of it, the first 7 days are free. It's free the first 7 days. Get in there, try every clothes on. It's like when you go into a store. Try it all on. Take it all with you. If you don't like it, take it all back. And it won't cost you anything. So, the link in my bio on social media, you will see it in there. Conscious Evolution Community membership. Get yourself in there because 2024, just trust me, you will see it here in the coming weeks. Also, get yourself signed up for Release. It's a free 3-day live event where I'm going to teach you how to release and let go of everything that you've been holding on to that no longer serves you. Link in the bio. You go to the story on Instagram. You'll see it there. It's time. It is time. But most of all, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission. I have to say this real quick because this was on. I'm not really big on. I eat the same thing every day. I drink water. Like I make sure I'm very cognizant of what I put in my body. And by the way, February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is Release. February 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Okay. As always, y'all keep going, please. Please, 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 please keep going. Please keep going. Do not stop. I will see you in the community. I will see you at Release, the free 3-day live event. February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And I will see you at the top. As always, I wish you nothing but the best on the pathway to your results.